conversation about Weber International University. Of course, their college football season just completed a week or so ago, and we appreciate the time. And now we have the head football coach, Eric Potochney, here on Sports Central with us. And Coach, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Did I get it right?
It was close. It was close.
What'd I tell you? I said 15 times I'll get it right off air, and then here we go. Coach P.
There you go.
That's what we're going to do. But, Coach, welcome. Of course, wrapping up your first season as the head football coach there at Weber International University. But you were on staff prior.
Yes, sir.
So you didn't have to move down here. You were already here. Talk about that transition of taking over for Kelly and kind of where the season went.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that we were trying to change and do different, and it's been a process for sure. Luckily, we were able to, bring on board, keep a few coaches, bring on board some other coaches that were able to kind of help and aid in the transition process. But so yeah, we're definitely trying to change several different things. The first of which was the hardest thing to change, was trying to tweak our locker room culture and for our players, and be able to try to change their mindset into adapt to what we were trying to get them to do. So that's been the toughest challenge so far.
Super. What's after this first season, your first season as a head coach, what from this season, what's some of the things that you can take as kind of building blocks for next year and then in leading years for the program? Things that went great this year that can transform.
Well, I think the best thing that we can use is the way we're able to finish the season. So we finished the season by beating Warner University, who's our rival, in the Lake Calusa Clash, and we beat them pretty good. The score was 72-28, so we were able to finish the season really strong. But for us, there was a lot of really good things that happened during the season. We were competitive in a lot of games. But there for a few of those, we were just able to finish and kind of get things done all the way up to the fourth quarter. So that's some things that we definitely have to work on. But there were a lot of positive things that happened throughout the season. But the best thing was obviously finishing with the win over our rival school.
That heals a lot of things, doesn't it?
It does.
when you end the season, I'm a Florida State fan, and they beat Miami, and then they haven't had a great year, but if they can beat. Hey, did you hear me say that?
Talking to Coach?
No, I'm talking to you. Okay. He's a Miami fan. But if they can beat the Gators, it doesn't really. The rest of them don't really matter. I mean, coaches don't think that way, but fan bases do, right?
Oh, and the players think that way too.
Okay.
I mean, it's amazing. So we played Faulkner University, and we beat them for our first win of the season.
They were ranked, right?
They were ranked, yes, sir. So, like I said, we were a competitive team. It just we weren't able to kind of put things all the way together for 4 quarters. And a lot of that has to do with having a young team and just kind of unsure in certain situations. But we were able to beat Faulkner, and at that point we ended up being 1-7. And that next week in practice, it was like we were 5-0. I mean, the kids were practicing hard. It was just a completely different mindset for our team. So we battled that all year, though.
What with that strong finish, winning 2 out of the last 3. Beating Faulkner and then Warner there to finish the season. What was it that the end of the season that kind of changed for the team, the group, to kind of build that momentum? And I know looking through the results, and as you said, a lot of those games that you were in were close right there till the fourth quarter, and ball bounce this way or possession happens this way. Changes the game. But what, to pick up those couple wins there at the end of the season, which I know was huge for the program to finish strong, what was it there at the end that kind of flipped the script a little bit and changed for the program?
Well, I think the kids, they competed hard all year. The toughest part about this season, our schedule was pretty tough. And we knew that, going into the season that we were going to push them really hard, and our expectations, for them to go out and compete were at a high level. But we knew that it was going to be tough if we couldn't generate some success early on in the season to be able to keep them playing and keep them pushing. But, from day one, we told them that our expectations weren't going to change. Regardless of whether we won or whether we lost, that our expectations were going to be the same. And I think there towards the end, they finally started to kind of gel together, and we had a bunch of younger kids that were playing, so they started to gain some game experience, some playing experience. And, so there towards the end, we just were able to kind of keep that same group of guys together, where we had some kind of injuries and things early on in the season. So they just kept playing hard, and we were able to kind of put some things together there towards the end of the season and score some points, and so hopefully we can use that as fuel into the off season, so our kids can get a little taste of that, and it kind of pushes them a little bit more.
Yeah, and along those lines, how do you take, because it sounds like you had a number of younger players that were getting some quality minutes there, how do you take that and use it as a springboard into next season? Because it's been tough. I mean, it's been tough on everybody, and I think everybody's kind of tired of talking about it, but the rules and regulations that are in there for COVID and first year and just a lot of things, tough schedule. How do you bundle all that together and move forward with your younger players and what will turn into hopefully leaders for next year's team?
Yeah, I mean that's the good part and bad part about having young players. It's bad right now because they are young players, so they're going to make immature mistakes. But it's good if they can get to year 2 and year 3 with you, where they've already kind of made those mistakes and they've kind of grown in those opportunities. So it's just a matter of the coaches being kind of patient with those guys, understanding that this is what we're pushing towards. But I definitely think that we have a good group of young guys that can be potential leaders, which is one thing that we're trying to work on right now with our team, is better leadership.
Wonderful. What's in regards to leadership, and we talked a little bit, but kind of what's the plan now moving forward to get ready for, next year? You just finished a couple weeks ago with this year, but what's the plan for the off season, and how do things get prepared for next year and the plans for that?
Well, the first thing we got to do is recruit better players. So we've had 3 game day visits so far, and where we were able to get some players out to the games to get their families on campus. We're going to have 2 more what we're going to call visit days, recruit days in December, and then we'll have 2 more in January. So our objective is to get as many kids on campus as we can, recruits, and that way we can sign a good group of guys on signing day. So really the season is over game-wise for us, but it doesn't stop. I mean, now we're full swing in recruiting. So I mean, coaches are only as good as your players that you can get to come play for you. So for us, it's about getting better players and guys that come in that will compete with the current players you have. So it's a lot of things that we're trying to get done right now.
Polk County being such a hotbed for high school football and talent, is it an advantage being this close, or is it a disadvantage when it comes to recruiting Polk County kids because maybe the mindset, I want to go a little further away, or so do you get a lot of Polk County kids, or is it a disadvantage because you're right here in their backyard?
It is both. And I think that's kind of, we want more Polk County kids, absolutely, for sure. But we're kind of on both sides of the spectrum, where some student athletes they kind of want to get away to have that experience, where some, would like to stay closer to home. And so we kind of, it's not right for everyone, because some kids are just different. But if we have an opportunity to recruit, somebody from a local school and they're interested in coming to Weber, then yes, we absolutely will recruit them.
Great. Wonderful. With speaking of locals, how many locals do you have on your team from this past season?
Not enough.
Not enough.
we have a handful of them. But I mean, you're right. The talent in Polk County is really good. So the more guys that we can get from this area, we would definitely love to have that. But we will do a better job recruiting Polk County from here on out.
And it's, Lynn, and as Neil said, and even yourself, it's not as easy as it sounds.
No.
You got guys that have aspirations to go into bigger schools, or like said, kind of going out of town and, hey, I want to go off to college. And we got tons of talent right here in the county, and trying to keep them close is a goal. So congrats on the first year. I know when you were previously on the show, seems like a couple weeks ago, but I know it was three months ago probably. We talked a little bit about kind of you were part of that original group from the original team back in the day. This is the Woodshed, I think.
The Shed Boys.
Shed Boys, that's what it was. And now kind of going through all the way through from the original team for Weber, being part of that, playing, and now your first year as a coach. Just speak about that. Kind of just that opportunity that you've had to kind of really see the program from day one, and now all of a sudden you're the coach. Just speak about that briefly.
Yeah, I mean, it really puts things in perspective because it's come kind of full circle. But even more so than that, I think it's more or less about the relationships that we kind of built throughout the program as a player and as a coach, and all those people kind of reaching back out and making contact. So I've talked to so many people in the last 6 months, just to kind of through the process, transition into head coaching position, everything. But just the support from all those people, I think, is really what's kind of the most unique about everything.
Wonderful.
That's fantastic. Well, I was going to try to let it go, but I can't. Apparently, I missed the memo on attire for this show today with the two of you. I don't know if you guys can see. They got the same shirt. Apparently, go to the same barber. But I missed out on that. Maybe next time I can be included, Gerald. I don't know.
We can. You got the shirt. You just didn't wear it.
Well,
and I can arrange for the barber.
Okay, well, no, that's Coach. We really appreciate the time. Appreciate you coming on Sports Central, and look forward to having you back next year and watching the program move forward under your leadership.
Thank you. Appreciate it.